You ready?
Yeah. Hey everybody, it's
No.
National... What?
I can't hear shit right now.
Why not?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh.
Can hear... You haven't spoken into a microphone yet, but I can hear me.
That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you are.
Okay.
Hey, as I was saying, it's National Shit in Your Pocket Day.
Shit in your pocket day.
Go ahead and everyone and celebrate today
Hey.
by shitting in your pocket. Or shit in your friend's pocket. It's just important to have shit in your pocket. If you're walking down the street, you see some poop, poopy, a dog puke, pick it up, put it in your pocket. It's National Shit in Your Pocket Day. Hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast.
Welcome to our podcast. Mike went and got changed because he's smart, and I did not because it's 10 minutes later.
And really destroying all of the mystery around the podcast is the rope burner herself, Zoja. That's your new name. You burn ropes. So,
Burning rope since 22, bro.
new thing for Zoja. So, thank you so much for being here, Zoe. You're listening to this now as we are on the East Coast.
Yes.
Thank you for, man, we had a great time at the stand last night, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. So much fun.
And now I'll tell you that, is it the 26th now?
Today is the 26th.
Okay, so we had a great time in Connecticut. Thank you for absolutely selling the fuck out of that show.
Thank you so much.
I was
you
so
guys.
worried that you guys weren't going to come and you were lined up around the block.
We had such a good time. My brother was laughing the entire time.
I can't believe-
he enjoyed himself so much.
Yeah, and I was carried out on your shoulders, but you know that I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So we never fixed this camera from when you kicked it before, and now we're back. Zoe, in just 2 days, in a day, I'll be doing the first ever New York surrounded show at the stand. And if you're not there, then you are
A
square.
loser.
Boom. Get sucked. So we've been doing this thing.
I don't know that that's an
Yes, it is.
insult.
And yes, it is.
Is it?
So we're doing this new thing where
Right.
we answer relationship questions
Right.
on the podcast. Could be any kind of relationships. Could be...
A relationship with the space.
What was that example?
Well,
Relationship
Mike,
with the space.
Mike.
And it also could be sexual.
Yes.
And it also could be not sexual, like a boss. Or it could be a sex
Friendshipal.
problem you have with your boss.
Whoa.
We'll do our best. I've never had that. You ever had sex with a boss?
No, but I did have a boss hit on me once, and I looked at him dead in the eyes, and I was like, you're disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have that happen, we'll help you out. Also, you should call a lawyer.
Yes.
And it's been great so far. Love doing this. If you, at the end of this episode, or even halfway, say, I have something that I would like them to talk about on a podcast, you could hit us up on our Instagram, and you could submit your question on a goddamn Instagram.
Do it.
At Welcome to Our Podcast with a bunch of underscores.
I dare you to do it.
I dare you to do
I dare you to do it.
And I dare you to move like Switchfoot.
What?
So we have 2 questions, but normally we catch up for a little while before. Since our last podcast was 10 minutes ago, Zoja, do you have anything to say to me?
Well, the wedding was great, and thank you for... I started the pot of coffee, and you poured the coffee in the cup.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Also, you did a beautiful job with your maid of honor speech. I don't know that I've ever heard a more intricate, shorter speech in my entire life. Every
you.
word you said held the weight of 1,000 speeches.
Thank you. And you officiating for the first time ever, Mike. I mean, Rev Mike killed it. And
Man,
you looked so
dude.
handsome in your blue suit.
If we both eat shit,
I can't wait.
this
At least
is
we're
gonna
eating
be-
shit together.
And at least the podcast family won't know until next week.
Right.
When we tell them the truth.
Yes.
Man, but I hope we do good. And I hope we did good.
Eating shit
This
together.
is, if you guys are listening to this, meaning Mike and Zoja in the future, Mike and Zoja from the past are rooting for you.
Yes.
Even though we should be further along in our preparation.
Yes.
Zoe,
Mike.
thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me. Oh my God, Mike. Thank you. Also, I think these headphones are on their last leg, but it
Well-
also may have been me fucking with them, and
What's happening right now?
this side doesn't work.
What makes you think it doesn't work? Like you're not hearing nothing?
No, it's not that.
Maybe I
The
can
left
give one of
side
these?
works. The right side, not so much.
Well, those are like generation 1
Excuse me.
iPod headphones.
Rude.
Well, Zoe,
Yes.
we have 2 questions to answer
Uh-huh.
on
Tell
this
me.
particular podcast.
Give it to me.
Is there anything you're feeling before we start?
I feel jazzed and ready to go.
Is it because of the coffee?
No, coffee hasn't hit yet. But we
I
got
think it's
about
hitting
an
me. I'm
hour and a
jittery.
half.
You see my leg?
Mike, it did not hit you yet. And did you hit your head on something
When?
just now? You got like a... Did you scratch yourself?
Did I scratch myself?
Oh, don't.
What?
You got like a red mark.
Well, now I have to go check this out.
No, no checking out.
I have to check it out in
No,
my camera
check
phone.
it.
Front
No
facing
check
camera.
it. No check you out.
Dude, I think maybe I was bit by something.
Dude, don't scratch it. I got bit the other day. And
I already
swear to
scratched
God,
it. Why?
I got bit. I got yatted up hardcore, and I didn't even scratch it because I was afraid to scratch it and scab it because I didn't want like a weird something in my dress. So I left it alone. But the next day I was at work and I was talking to one of my clients. I was like, that motherfucker bruised me. And she's like, who, your husband? And I was like, no, I got bit by a mosquito.
Damn,
Yeah.
that sucks my butt.
Yeah, it sucked my butt too.
Also, where is there a fucking bug in here?
I don't know.
Well, now I got a goat in my garden about it.
Don't scratch it though, whatever you do.
What? I'm so glad I have to sit on this plane now with a scratchy forehead.
I'll give you something to put on it. Like a knuckle sandwich. Am I right, guys?
Question number 1.
Ladies.
If you, hey,
no.
If you have, this is a great question, by the
Okay.
way.
Well,
We'll get
then
to it
ask
next
it.
week.
Can you please?
What? If you have feelings for your best friend, but you won't act on them because there are other partners in the picture, should you stay friends?
If you feel...
Isn't it fun how this one isn't like there are so many relationship questions you could ask people who have been married for 9 years, and us in particular, that the answer would be swift and terse. And this isn't one of those.
No,
This isn't one of those.
I mean, okay. How long are these feelings new? Is there trouble in both of your relationships that you guys are now like talking to each other and are confiding in each other and each other's relationship woes? You know, like is what's going on in the relationship that you are allowing feelings for someone else to happen? Has this ever been an open relationship? There's so many questions I have for this person.
I feel like maybe you don't even understand the question.
He's having, or they are having, feelings for their friend, right?
Yeah.
But like what's happening in their separate relationship?
How do you know this person's in a relationship?
Doesn't it say that there's a significant others?
The way I read it, it was like you like your friend,
Right.
but you won't say nothing because your friend is with someone. Should you still be friends after that? That's the way I took it. You're saying they're both with someone.
Other partners in the picture. Other partners, I would assume that they're both in a relationship. Both the best friend and the person, the feeler and feeling of feelings.
There you go. And there's the title. The Feeler of the Feelings. Episode 405, The Feeler of the Feelings. Man, this podcast is different now. Okay, so yeah, if there are partners on both sides, sounds like you're busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds like it should have been a conversation at some other point. But if you're to the point, okay, so if I'm the friend, if I'm the person writing this, and I have somebody else, and I'm asking a podcast about my feelings for my friend, but they have somebody else, break up with the person that you're with.
100%.
So that gets rid of part number one.
Right.
Because if you're like, fuck, I have feelings for my friend, but we're both with someone, what do I do now?
Right.
You either got to have a very open conversation with a
Yep.
lot of people, or you have to get out of your current relationship because of the thing that Zoya said before.
Bad stuff.
If you are single and you won't say anything to your best friend who you're in love with because they're with somebody else, I think you have to put that friendship in a box where you don't hang out as much.
Right. You need to put that box on a back burner.
Why are they putting a box on a burner? The
Well-
whole house is fucked.
Yeah. You know what I mean. You can put the box in the closet. Get away from it.
A lot of people work their whole lives coming out of the closet.
Okay.
And you're saying
Mike.
go back in? Put
That's
yourself
not
in a box
what I
and go in the
meant.
closet?
Okay.
Check out our episode next week, Coming Out of the Box.
Of the feeler of the feelings.
I'm feeling like I want to come out of the box.
No, I don't think that you should be just readily available. Maybe if you do pull away a little bit, you'll start to notice that maybe it's just like a slight crush, and not like actual feelings. But if this person is in a good, healthy relationship, I wouldn't ruin that for someone else. I don't think.
And you got to be prepared that even if you want to, like, let's say you hate that other person's partner and you're like, fuck it, I got to tell them because they're going to waste the rest of their life on this person and we could be together. First of all, a little bit selfish.
Right.
Even if it's the truth, it's selfish. Just because something is truthful doesn't mean that it's not selfish. And you got to be good with your friend looking back at you and being like, I don't feel that way. I'm with Deborah.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
I don't feel that way. I'm with Deborah. Just so you know. I thought that was clear. You
Yeah.
got to be good. You got to be, if you're going to risk it for the biscuit, you got to
gotta
be good
with the answer.
With the answer
the outcome.
for the prancer.
Bang.
What button makes it sound like there's more claps? Surrounded in New York on the 27th.
Tomorrow night, guys.
Tomorrow night. Oh, my sweet goodness. Are we done with that?
I mean, yeah, there's not much else. I mean,
Were you ever in love
There are a
with a
lot
best
of-
friend who was in love with somebody else?
best friend, love with somebody else. No.
I can't remember that ever happening in my life either. I did. Can I tell you something? I think I've told you this before. Back in the day, when a girl liked me and I didn't like her as much as she liked me, and I had a problem letting her down, my go-to excuse would be, I think I'm in love with my best friend.
That's a really good out, though.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Because no one's going to be like, what the fuck? They're going to be like, you should go to them.
Go.
And you got to let them know.
Run hither.
And we just met at the bar and I like you too much.
Yeah.
And if you're in love with your best friend, you got to go be with them.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
a good
I
out.
mean-
If you want to be a piece of shit. Or if you got a clinger. But you got to be honest with yourself about what it is. Is it a normal person who isn't a clinger that deserves some honesty? Or is it a clinger who deserves a good out?
Yeah.
Join us next time.
York is surrounded in New York.
I'll give you the answer tomorrow night at 10. Do you have anything else to say?
No, the feeler of feelings. We have I think we've answered it. I don't. I mean, I could go for hours on a topic like this, right?
Go ahead.
But I wish
Go off,
I
queen.
knew who it was so I could start asking so many other questions.
We have to start operating as if the sentence that we have is the only sentence. I think we found last week, if you want this to be a crossover episode, that sometimes we don't even have the full sentence. And we do need to come up with an answer based on the information that we have.
True.
We're not privy to additional relationship information.
I went to actual last week, not earlier today's last week.
Keep up. Sorry, you're burning the rope.
Yep. I'm just gonna stay with me and my burning rope. Oh goodness.
We have one more question for this week.
Okay, tell me.
Zoe.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Zoe.
Do you want me to give it to you so you can answer it first?
Good luck reading my writing. Zoya.
How do you help out a friend in a relationship out when they can barely help themselves? Rut. How do you help out a friend in a relationship rut when they can barely help themselves?
Surrounded in New York.
Good question.
That is a good question.
How do you help a friend out of a relationship rut when they can't even help themselves? Let me ask you this. And then after I ask you this, you ask yourself that and you let me know tomorrow night at 10.
It's surrounded.
Why would you set a stranger up with someone who isn't interested in helping themselves? It's like it's like selling someone a lemon, which is slang for a bad car, or like a dog. Like if you try to offload your dog, but you know it throws up constantly, and you're like, I gotta move. I can't keep the dog, but you know it's been throwing up constantly for months, and you haven't brought it to the vet. And the dog's not going to go to the vet on its own.
Right.
The dog doesn't know where the vet is. So you have to drive it there.
Right.
And you're offloading that onto someone else who I had a friend who was like, who wants me to hook her up with anyone single. And she's like, tell me which bridge you want to burn. And I'll go out with that person. Meaning that she knows that she is difficult.
Yeah.
And so if I want to ruin my friendship with anyone, to hook me up with them.
That is terrible.
It is terrible, but at least that's a level of self-awareness that we should all strive to be at, by the way. If you know you're too much, good on you.
Uh-oh.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Because so much better to be that than to
Self-aware.
not know you're
Right.
too much and to
Right.
keep going forever and thinking that you're perfect. Know that you got some shit to work on. So
That person, just so you know, your friend doesn't want to help. They don't want help out of the rut. Just so you know.
they probably think they want to be with someone, but they don't even know what they want to get into if they're not interested in helping themselves.
Right.
Because not only, dude, when you're in a relationship, not only do you have to constantly want to help yourself,
right,
but now you got to help out somebody else.
Yeah.
And you can't bring the shittiest version of you to the beginning of the relationship.
No.
Save the shittiest version of you to the end so you could not hold anything back.
Yes.
And say stuff like whatever you're going to say to make
Bang.
that person never going to want to be with you again.
Right. Yeah. People that are just in a rut to be in a rut all the time, they're not looking for an answer. They're just looking to complain.
Yeah, don't give them something new to complain about.
Right.
Because then, dude, think about what happens. Fast forward, it won't last this long, but fast forward 3 months. I hooked my friend up with someone. I hooked my friend who's in a rut up with somebody I work with or whatever. And now my friend is like, she's calling me again. She always calls me. and was calling me, and now she's calling again.
Yeah.
And then your other friend, who you hooked up with your ruddy friend, is pissed off about something else. They'll never make a decision on anything. And they always want me to go over there, but their apartment's dirty as fuck because they won't help themselves out of a rut. Mm-hmm. Now you're just responsible for making two people miserable.
Yeah.
So don't
Bang. Done.
bang.
Yeah. Don't bang.
Don't bang that friend.
No. I honestly, like, yeah, it just sounds to me that this person's in a like a not great relationship, and they're also in a not great relationship with themselves. So it's like the perfect storm.
Yeah,
and
they're already
recipe.
in a relationship.
Yeah, they're in
A rut.
yeah.
They are in a complicated relationship with a rut on Facebook.
Yes.
Listen, can I use a stand-up analogy?
Yes.
I book a show,
Yes.
and I don't book people who aren't working. Mm-hmm. So if somebody comes out of the blue that I haven't seen in 6 months out at a show or in the clubs, and
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry for being so boring that you have to go completely to sleep in between.
I'm so sorry. That's not what. So you won't book somebody that
I
you
won't
haven't
book
seen?
someone who I know isn't working or I don't see working.
Right.
Or even if I don't see them personally, not
Right.
putting up shows online or putting out clips or putting a podcast, doing
Right.
some kind of work, doing something.
Right.
Because I'm not interested in someone who's not putting in the work somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Be like that.
Do that.
Do that.
Definitely.
And don't help someone else get what they want when they're not willing to work for it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if someone's asking for help, but then not taking your advice or your help, they don't give a fuck. Because clearly they can't even help themselves out, which I would assume that you've been trying to help them out of their own rut. And if they can't even get out of their own rut, what makes you think that they're going to be able to get out of a relationship rut?
Yeah, what if you were like at your friend's house who's in a rut, and you were like, why don't you go take a walk? Take a walk before you go to work every day this week. Wake up early, take a walk. And they don't. And then you say, maybe after work, just before you eat dinner, just take a walk. And then they don't for months. And then you say, well, have dinner. And then right before, as the sun is going down, go to the park down the street from your house and just go sit in the park. And they don't do that. And you're like, well, go work out. Why don't you get a gym membership? You got some extra money because your job is going well. Go get a gym membership. And then they don't do that. And why don't you go get one of these meal subscription services so you can have the confidence to cook your own self a meal that tastes great in your house. And then they don't do that. And you say, hey, man, well, how about you figure it out?
Yeah.
Because at the end of that, you don't then say, well, I've suggested all this stuff to help you get out of your rut, to help you at least start moving the ball forward so maybe you can gather some momentum and roll the rock down the hill.
Yeah.
Why would you then say, you know what I'm going to do? I'll get you a girlfriend. That'll do it. Or I'll hook you up with someone.
Not gonna happen. Bang.
Bang.
You know what I've been really enjoying lately?
What's that?
Is going on walks with you.
Yeah.
We've been having a really, really nice time. We do like about 2 miles, 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
And it makes me really, really happy.
Makes me happy as well.
I enjoy you a lot.
I enjoy you a lot. I like you because you're no bullshit.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something else?
I'd say so.
When you are in, and you do this now and again, you get into workout mode where you get pissed off at yourself for whatever reason. And then you are determined to work out every day.
Yes.
Even though you still smoke cigarettes, it doesn't make any sense. And you make sure you push yourself beyond what you'd like to do every day. I don't know a ton of people who like working out. And you hate it.
Yes.
Bad.
Yes.
But you do it.
Yes.
And I think anyone in that mode that will push themselves to do even just one thing out of their comfort zone, if they know it will better them and help them achieve a goal that they want, I think you're more apt to take suggestions to do other stuff like that as well during that time.
Yes.
So before, where I would be like, let's go for a walk, and you're like, no, I'm tired. I just got home, which is also perfectly acceptable.
Right.
Because you're working all day. You're on your feet all day.
Yep.
I think now you give it the extra, and you look at your watch and say, maybe my exercise ring isn't closed. If we go for a 30-minute walk, I'll get an extra however many steps or whatever. And I like that. It's one of my favorite things. I like when you join me on that.
Yeah.
And I like when you got a can-do attitude, which you do most of the time, but I want to give credit where credit is due.
Thank you. I just, I have been, like, it's funny because you don't even realize it. And today I was thinking about us going for a walk or whatever. And
which is code for making the fuck out.
no, it's not. And, the conversation is always slightly different than what we would have in the house.
Outdoor conversation. It's louder.
It's just, I don't know. It's just different, you know, like I feel like there's a different connection that we get like when we're both outside, like having exercise, you know, and it's just nice, and I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
And that's that.
I like to hear your thoughts on things that I know you have nothing to do with. Like I'm thinking this. Do you have literally any thoughts on this? Whether it's like an idea or if it's some kind of like thing in stand-up I can't figure out, like a joke or a business thing, I'll just be like, I'm going to say this whole thing, and you literally tell me if you have any thoughts about it.
Right.
And sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do, and it's all helpful.
Yeah.
And it's
Sometimes
very
I
nice.
drop the mic, you know? What can I say? You guys, speaking of dropping mics, we got a $10 group that drops a mic every week, y'all. What? Hey.
Sorry, we have no time for that.
Yes, we do.
There's no time.
Yes, we do.
Zoe, we don't have time for the dancing. We
What
need
is
to.
it? Surrounded in New York. Surrounded in New York.
Surrounded in New York. Surrounded in New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
New York. Surrounded
New York. York.
surrounded.
New York. As you know, our $10 group gets a shout out, and that goes a little something like this: Greg Ledges, Matthew Carey, Shannon Haynes, DLD, Patrick Simpson, Ernesto, Raja, Eliseus, Joe Turzin, Lewis and Ozette, and Odette, Lawrence Chauncey, Paul Gilliam, Steve Diergo, Chris McCarthy, Trevor the Warefishy, Joe Penn, Happy Birthday Starlight, JJ McToots, Rachel Last Name, Mike Genie, Alan Garcia, Connie Tryon, Isabella Sparkles, and Taro Baez. I think I missed so many of these names last week. If I did, I apologize. Frankie Matos Music. Actually, no, I didn't. Anyway, in our short years, we come long way. Chris Fernandez, Johnny Rosito, Handcrafted Neckwear, CCPB&J, Admimed. I really like this beat. I know it's plain, but it's nice. It reminds me of Michael Jackson. Emily Paget. Yeah. I am the one. Sorry. Emily Paget.
I'm annoying myself.
Caleb Perkins, Giant Tom Hanks, Lizzie Love, Gavin Welsh, Crossed Up, Someone Tell Aaron, Emily Buck, Jackie Hammond, Paige Junzen, Guy with Long Hair, Jis Cronson, Happy Birthday Chris, Anna Valles, Benjamin Putz, Best Butch, Snuggle Pig H, Ryan Ashbrook, Christina Camille, Josh Jinston, Michael Johnson, Kayla Johnston. Too many Johns, sons and stuns. Jules Run, Grant Levis York, Chad Clark, Joe Finney, Heather Ashley, What is Cat, Chris, Katie Taylor, Evan Canoe, Shane Welsh, Joe Band, Milky Beans, Jess Enright, Lillian Carrillo, Magnus Silva. This seems like we did it so much longer, but the mid-breakdown dance crew that we had. Oh, too bad this was off. I'm going to leave it off. Magnus Silva, Lillian Carrillo, if I didn't say that already. Barrington Lloyd Lovett, Ben Fuchs, Theodore's Karen Bellis, One Bum Man, Janisha Tutton, Danny Sinclair, Jacob D. Bradford, Justine Beebestein, Just Josh, Sergeant Sparty, Ed Birch, Helen Ford, Illumino, Superfloss, Tatiana Clay, Danielle D. Verona, Sean Stone, Valerie York, Dev, Jesse Stillwell, Katie Lee G, Rob Devereux, Don Go Chasing Waterfalls, Nestor De Leon III, Luis Hernandez, Alexander Legowski, Monique Quistorf, Jamie Garner, Troy R, Cody Osalas, Felicia Shimberry, and Matthew J. Palka. You guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. The feeler of feelings.